Jubilation on the streets of Berlin. Mario Götze's extra-time winner has brought back the feel-good factor. Sentiment has spread to Germany's version of Wall Street, with the DAX rising today. However, not everyone wants to give the World Cup victory too much weight.
Everyone on the floor is happy that we are the new world champions, but it has had no influence on the markets. There are other issues, the Ukraine crisis, the problems of Portuguese banks, the problems in the Middle East. Those are the flashpoints.
On the other side of the world, they're not so happy. Argentina has been struggling off the pitch recently, with its government arguing over debt repayments, an issue which has lingered for over a decade. And after yesterday's defeat, angry fans decided to riot in the capital, Buenos Aires. Lionel Messi and his teammates were not the only losers from the world's biggest sporting event. Nike, who sponsor Brazil, have had a disastrous World Cup, with their shares declining since the hosts' exit. Rival Adidas, who are shirt manufacturers for Germany, have seen their shares rise and were the biggest risers on the DAX today. But with the event now finished, what next for the world's most popular sport? Football's governing body FIFA was already under pressure before the event began, with accusations of bribery linked to giving Qatar the event in 2022. None of the powerful European organisations like to be associated with such allegations. They may decide to create their own European Super League without FIFA. That could cause major problems, with football's main sponsors unsure which event to back. Football is no longer a sport which only matters on the pitch. It's what direction the men in suits take it next, which will determine its path. Jagdeep Chima, Arise News.
Let's speak to Yannick Naud from Sturgeon Capital. Do you think FIFA, first of all, is safe? Because it has gone through quite a series of big questions being asked about it. And it is, after all, just an administrative organisation.
Yes. Well, it's not safe. I mean, we knew from before the beginning of the tournament that 4 of the main 6 sponsors were having some concern about the way they were running their business and the possible potential of corruption. Having said that, it's true that because the viewership was so great during the World Cup, I mean, it was a real success in terms of online, with 600,000 per minute tweet, 88 million talking on Facebook about the World Cup, and extreme viewership on TV. It's true that today the situation is a bit safer for them compared to at the beginning of the tournament.
So in other words, what you're saying is that the big advertisers cannot resist the sort of audience that FIFA delivers?
Well, I mean, it's the only way, it's the only time you can have 1 billion plus of people looking at the same event. Having said that, it's possible. I mean, you have to be optimistic, and you have to think that the sponsor will be strong enough in order to demand some change to the FIFA World Cup. I mean, you have to keep in mind that I think for Adidas, they have to pay around $70 million for 4 years in order to be one of the main sponsors. So, you know, for that money, you want to make sure that, you know, it's a beautiful game.
But it happened in boxing, didn't it? I mean, that split into all sorts of different organisations. And there's a problem there for sponsors. So which one do you go for? Even for the players themselves, I suppose. Yes. They'd be saying, which league do I want to be in to get maximum exposure?
Yes, I think it's possible, but you have to keep in mind it's a competitive business. You have new sponsors that want to go into football, like Nissan, that announced, I think, last week, the 3rd transaction in 4 months. So all in all, every company wants to keep their position. I think probably the company that could change this gridlock would be Sony, because Sony's contract is ending at the end of the year. We know that Sony is not in best financial shape. It could be a good way for them to negotiate a way out, or to make sure that FIFA change the way they operate.
West Germany. Germany doesn't need much help because it's the world's 3rd biggest exporter. So just good news all the way for them. Will it change much in Germany, do you think?
Well, I think, I mean, there will be an impact in terms of made in Germany because, you know, for 2 things. First of all, they won the World Cup. They won the World Cup as a team, which I think it's very important because they didn't rely, like Argentina or Brazil, in one individual to save. You know, they were not one individual and 10 other people to support him. It was a one team that were playing together and at the end won. So I think for Germany, it's a very, very good event. But historically speaking, whether it's in 54, 74, 1990, after the World Cup, the country did well.
Okay, and let's finish with Argentina. I mean, private equities put some big pressure on on the Argentine financial authorities, hasn't it?
Well, for Argentina, the clock is ticking because at the beginning of this month, or end of last month, they didn't pay a coupon payment, and therefore they are during a 30-day grace period. So in less than 3 weeks, they have to find a solution: either pay private equity or hedge fund $1.5 billion around, or just default completely on the entire debt.
Briefly, you tend to get the idea that a win in football wouldn't have stopped that, would it? Wouldn't have made any difference at all, presumably, would it?
Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they didn't focus enough on the problem at hand and were too busy watching the World Cup, thinking that maybe there will be some...
or to go away.
Exactly.
Yannick, stay with us. Thanks so much indeed. Now,